Here we go again. Are altcoins going to rally more than Bitcoin? You're going to want to listen to this conversation. Solana makes new all-time highs in addresses. Avalanche is pumping. Chainlink is rallying. What is the next stop for the Link token? Also, Jerome Powell might be on his way out. What does that mean for what can we expect next year if we get a new person in office? Also, new meme coins are popping up everywhere. Should you put some money into it? We're going to talk about that. The market, some TA. FTX creditors are suing FTX because, well, they're not getting paid the money that they're supposed to get paid. We have that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's get it. Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, welcome. We take old, boring, stale information, repackage that thing up in a fun and sexy way. No free parking for whale members, okay? Man, get that out of the way before
altcoins are ripping, man. Altcoins are ripping right now.
You know what else is ripping, Robin?
Pants?
Chainlink. Could have gone to the Super Bowl, bro. But we're not going to the Super Bowl. Speaking of super, we have a super third co-host joining us, and that is my man, Forrest. Forrest, how you doing, bro?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Forrest, the pleasure is all ours, my friend. We appreciate you joining us. We got a lot to talk about, man, so let's just jump right in. Yesterday, Robin's over here telling me that you should sell your Bitcoin for Solana right before the halving, right before the ETFs start to catch traction, right before everything else that's happening. Curious to get your take, but first, are altcoins going to outperform Bitcoin? Take a look at what BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes is saying, as he's flip-flops more than Mark Cuban almost. He's saying he's backing Solana now amidst fears of another U.S. banking collapse. And if you remember, just a few short weeks ago, he said, sell all your Solana. Well, now he's saying don't sell it. In a post on X, Arthur Hayes, the co-founder of derivatives crypto exchange BitMEX, said it might be time for traders to double down on Solana and altcoins in general. Co-founder noted that it could be time to get back on the Solana train. With this preview, Hayes is convinced that Solana and other alts could outperform Bitcoin in the days ahead. He mentioned, of course, the banking crisis. We saw the New York Bancorp, who the people who put the Signature Bank in receivership sold it to this company, and now this company's going under. Funny how that works, huh? And then we just to piggyback off the Solana news, we have this. Solana sets new record. Here are the details. The number of new addresses on the Solana blockchain rose to 11.8 million in January, which is an 18% increase compared to December. So, Forrest, I'll start with you first. Is Arthur Hayes right? Is it time to rotate money out of Bitcoin into alts? I made the case for no, that would be stupid to do that right now with everything, coming up for Bitcoin. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the time to do it was months ago, to be quite honest. But yeah, I mean, I do expect a handful of altcoins to outperform Bitcoin. It's like, I think a lot of people like to look at like the altcoin market cap charts, like Total 3 or whatever, but that's just taking altcoins as a basket. I think there's, a select, few altcoins that will very, very likely outperform Bitcoin. I don't think all altcoins will. I think the vast majority of altcoins will very likely over time underperform Bitcoin. But if you're able to pick a few coins that you have a solid fundamental thesis for, that you expect a lot of growth in, then yeah, I think it's not going to be terribly difficult to outperform Bitcoin with some select altcoin picks.
Rob, what are your have you come to your senses, Robin, since yesterday?
What? That history has said that when Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, that the altcoin markets rally?
That's not the conversation we're talking about here. Bitcoin has not broken all-time highs, first and foremost.
But
you think it'll
break all-time highs in the next 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I was saying.
So hold on. On the road to Bitcoin breaking all-time highs, you would rather have money in alts versus Bitcoin?
Yes. Okay, would you have rather had a position on Cardano, Ethereum, Binance, Solana, pre all-time high? last bull market in 2021.
You understand
When
how-
2021, when Solana was $20, would you rather picked it up there and rode it up to 250? Would you like to pick up Cardano at at 10 cents, 20 cents, 80 cents before it rode up all the way up to almost $3? Ethereum at sub $1,000. Like
Bitcoin from 3,000 to 69,000. Okay.
oh well, if you want to go to that candle wick, look at the price of Ethereum during that period of time as well. Ethereum vastly outperformed Bitcoin from that.
There's a reason the money
bottom.
flow starts with Bitcoin, right?
I'm just
And then
saying
flows
that
into
history of the
Ethereum,
market. If you think that
mid-cap.
this cycle is different than the other past 2 cycles, and that all of the money will stay locked into Bitcoin, that's your own personal
I
narrative.
do not think all the money is going to stay locked into Bitcoin. I'm just saying you should not sell your Bitcoin for altcoins right before the halving. I'm just saying ride the Bitcoin wave and then follow the markets. Markets are going to flow. Money's going to flow from Bitcoin to alts. I'm not arguing that point.
I'm here to make money, bro. Like I'm here to make money. I'm here like when I looked at the 2021 bull market, I wasn't DCAing into Bitcoin in 2020. I was way down in the alt charts, fucking hitting home run after home run, making money. And to the viewers here, are you here to make money in crypto, or are you here to slowly stack into a retirement portfolio? I mean, neither one of those answers is wrong, but if you're here to get alpha on which altcoins to identify that are going to make you some money, like this is what this show is about. This is what I represent. I'm not here to sit here and do a show 5 days a week and tell you DCA into Bitcoin. Hell no. I'm going to be like, yo, Solana got this coming. Polygon got this coming. Chainlink changing stuff. Look at these alts. These Bitcoin layer 2s are changing the game. DeFi is absolutely exploding on this one. I'm popping these off, bro. And I don't care about DCing into Bitcoin right now. I really don't. Right now, at this point, market heating up. Every single cycle Bitcoin had before.
So when are you DCing into Bitcoin? Never?
I still have a DCA position, but I'm not moving into acquiring Bitcoin. I don't care about Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin will make you money, sure. But you want that game changing, life changing wealth? You wanna make some money in crypto? Like, no, go watch Pomp if you want to learn about Bitcoin DCA. Like, come watch Sin City Crypto. You want to watch some cool. You want to get the alpha on some cool projects. What are people here for, man? We talk about it when we're doing the show. People at the beginning of our research, it says people want to make money. We are here to give them the alpha on that.
Forrest, can you talk some sense into this man? Can you tell him to not sell all his Bitcoin before the halving?
I haven't owned Bitcoin in a long time. I totally agree with Rob here. Like, I don't know. I think there's just so many ways, like even like lower risk strategies to outperform Bitcoin, like doing some yield farming and funding great stuff on chain. Like, Bitcoin's great. Like if you want like a savings account, like a crypto savings account, yeah, Bitcoin's great. But I just don't think it's going to make any, like, unless you are like massively swing trading it with size and you're like and I know people who do this and primarily make most of their money swing trade, like multi-month, multi-year positions on Bitcoin and ETH, where they'll sell in the bull market and they'll buy back with size, with the entirety of their account, their net worth back in the bear market. And if you can do that a few times, a few cycles, and make some solid 5-10x's on repeat, and you're very, very patient and disciplined about that, absolutely. But it's very difficult. That's very, very difficult to do, and to time the markets like that on a multi-year time frame. But also, just I think it's really easy to outperform Bitcoin with
Shame on both of you.
Decent
Shame on both of you. Shame on both of you. I don't. The company I don't want to put shame on is our sponsor. That is Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow and maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, there is not a single company that is better than Cam's Blue Wire Tech. Trust us, we know, because we've literally been on the phone with them for a total of probably 100 hours. This show in 4K would not be possible without them, so big shout out to that team. Rob, you mentioned making money. I have a couple of opportunities I'd like to present to you. Number one, Bull Whiff Hat. somebody put a little beanie hat on the Wall Street Bull. So I'm expecting a short-term. Also, I came up with coin's not live yet.
Photoshop? That actually happened?
That actually happened. It's not out yet, but I threw the idea out there. And cat with gat. Forrest, is this something you would invest in? Cat with gat.
Yeah, if I could get in early enough. I want that early allocation.
Said if any of you DJs launch this token, just give me an allocation, man. I deserve a little bit of an allocation, and I promise I won't dump on all of you. I will take some profits, but
I do want to give a little love to the chat here. We got Carnivore Zelot came in with a $5 super chat when we started this thing. He said, coming to Vegas. He wants to know if we want to go out to dinner.
I will warn you, Robin is bougie.
Yeah, I don't do In and Out. I don't do Fat Burger.
It has to be a 5-star Michelin rated restaurant, and he's got to have the best of the best whiskey, you know?
Hey, man, you know what? We live in Vegas. We got thousands of amazing restaurants. Why not indulge and go out?
Yeah.
You know,
why not spend $800 on a dinner for two people?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You took higher risk plays. Maybe you
says the guy who's afraid to take higher risk plays. Stop it.
Also, quick shout out Travis Michael, Danny Boy, Nelson, Sauce Boss, and Alex Rod. Hola! Welcome to Cincy Crypto. Also, Alex Rod said, "Where do you see XRP?"
I see XRP in the bottom of the garbage.
Dude. You know what's been running today? Flare token. Not exactly XRP, but airdrop from the ecosystem. Yeah. Up 12% on the day, 20%. The biggest mover in the top 100. Top 100.
Okay, Flare.
So for all of you Flare holders that did not sell, well, there you go.
There you go. Good for you. Forrest, when are you coming to Vegas, man?
I don't know. It might be a while. Just had a little one.
Bring the baby, bro.
Actually,
we'll hit the tables.
My dad's coming to Vegas on Tuesday. He'll see you there. He's going to go.
Tell him to come by the studio, man.
You guys.
Tell him to bring a Solana phone. We'll buy it off him. All right. I do want to give a update on Bitcoin since you both are haters. Bitcoin update for the Bitcoin Kentucky Derby. Total net inflows yesterday, I'm going to say only 38 million. Only 182 million left GBTC. The newborn 9, they call it. I like how they give them nicknames like, the newborn 9 took in 220 million. So again, net of 38 million. As stated yesterday, was the first day that one of these ETFs traded more than GBTC. And so we're seeing the grayscale sell-off starts to slow down. FTX has gotten rid of their 2 billion in GBTC. Looks like the people who are in it are saying, hey, rather pay the 1.5% a year versus pay X amount of money on taxes because I bought at $8 GBTC. Now it's at 50 some dollars or whatever that number is. Looks like that's slowing down. And so I'm curious, are we going to start, Forrest? And if you want to jump to a Bitcoin chart, please feel free to do it. But are we going to start seeing like some appreciation in price? Because some people might be watching like, well, if this is all happening and all this buying and no one's selling, why is the price not moving? Can you answer that question for our people watching?
Yeah, for sure. Let me share my screen here. I'll get this pulled up in just a second. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Let me know if you can't.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, so I think with the name of the game with these Bitcoin ETF flows is it's the long tail effect of these things, these net inflows. Like you saw yesterday, we had a net positive inflow of $38 million in a day. Now, is $38 million going to move the needle for Bitcoin in the grand scheme of things on any given day? No. And you can see that it didn't. But over a long period of time, can $38 million per day for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years straight move the needle for Bitcoin? Yes, absolutely. It's a similar thing to what we see with the halvings every time. So let me actually, I know we're looking at a shorter time frame chart right now, but let's just go out to like the.
Or you get rid of that 36 level right now. You get rid of that 36, 37 level right now.
That's a buy level. That's not a target. That's like if it goes down to 36, 37, I'm a buyer.
Okay.
Just, marking out some support there. But yeah, so like we see with the Bitcoin halvings, I actually think I have a Bitcoin halvings indicator that marks them out. That's nice. So yeah, after the halvings, right, even if we zoom in on the weekly here, a lot of people, even way back when the halvings were like super, large, had a huge effect on price. It still took after the halving. Now, keep in mind, we're like a couple weeks out of a couple weeks after this ETF. And we still had like a bunch of GPTC unwind to go through. It took like 35 days after the first halving for price to do anything. It was literally just flat for like a month, right? After the second halving, it was down or flat for 105 days, right? The third halving, the last halving, we had 140 days of just like pretty sideways price action before we really started to kick things off. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again with this halving coming up. I think it'll be, everyone's going to get excited about the halving. We probably pump into it. Then nothing really happens for probably a month or two. But after, a period of time, those, that reduction in supply hitting the market every single day, it starts to move the needle. It starts to stack up. And I think, if I mark out this ETF launch, we're a couple weeks out. We had a huge GBTC unwind where, at $500 million per day for a period of time of Bitcoin was being sold out of the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF, right? And that pushed price down a little bit. But I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we just chopped for another couple weeks while these inflows kind of regulate. And if we see $38 million a day in inflow, that's what we saw yesterday. I don't know if it'll be, that, I don't know if it'll be, if that's what we'll see every single day, but if it was what we start seeing every single day, I think that would have a huge magnitude of an effect over a period of time. And then we can start to see, aggressive price or aggressive repricing upwards for Bitcoin. But yeah, a lot of times with these catalyst events like the halving and like this ETF, it just takes time. I think the people that are patient are going to, get paid off, and people that are getting like antsy and kind of scared here in the middle of a very strong uptrend. People are getting antsy and taking profits too soon or selling. And I'm a fan of taking profits, right? But just trying to bail out before we have a halving. I think are going to pay the price or miss out on a lot of upside in the future.
So you are agreeing with me. Don't bail out before the halving, right?
No, I mean, altcoins are gonna, in my opinion, just a select few altcoins are gonna outperform Bitcoin. So, I mean, regardless if you're in Bitcoin or you're in altcoins, like it's all crypto exposure at the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, if what's good for Bitcoin is good for a lot of these other altcoins.
I wanted to show a chart. The one chart you showed from James Safer with the flows on Bitcoin. Look where this chart was just. So this is 11 days into trading, right? So the net flows here at the bottom. If you look at this column that has this is the sells by Grayscale. So Grayscale there in red, 5,000 out. This was 11 days into trading.
$5 billion.
Or $5 billion here. Now you can see here at the bottom the net flow. So how much Bitcoin has been accumulated is positive, less than $1 billion, 759 days. And then look here, you see this is just 4 days, 4 trading days, more than doubled where we were. So as we see this, the selling slowing, the buys are still on track for massive accumulation. And this is going to speed up a lot faster. And as Dave, all joking aside, whatever you want to say, the alts are gonna return. Bitcoin's gonna have a massive run. Bitcoin's gonna have a massive run. Now, whether or not that pours over, that's for our own personal discussions. But do not discount the rally that we're about to get in Bitcoin. And it's coming early. This all-time high is coming early, man. It is coming early. We're damn near 4 trading days, damn near stacked $1 billion on top of the ETFs. And this isn't the institutional money just yet. They haven't moved in on this, man. It's been rebalancing, some traders, some investors, and so here soon, Bitcoin's price is going to rally. Supply shock is going to come into full effect. So
Forrest, real quick, will Bitcoin get a new all-time high before the halving? Yes or no?
Me?
Yeah.
I would say before the halving. I would say probably not.
Yeah.
It's possible, but probably not.
Over
expect it
50K?
later at the end of the year.
Over 50K?
More likely, obviously, but yeah, I think we can see over 50K before the halving. I think that would be pretty likely, especially if everyone's hyped up into the halving. Usually we rally into the halving, but all-time high things is a little less likely.
Speaking of over, it might be over for the Fed Chair Jerome Powell. As listen to what former president had to say about, hey, are you going to keep Jay Powell if you get elected?
Mr. President, back to the economy for a second. Would you reappoint Jay Powell?
No, I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't reappoint him?
No.
Bang, bang.
Because he missed inflation?
He did miss. But no, I wouldn't be inclined.
Who's your choice for Fed chairman?
I would have a couple of choices. I can't tell you now.
What if you said Gary Gensler? All jokes aside, could this be a positive or negative? That is if he gets put into office. So that remains to be seen. But
I'm just curious on what would happen with the SEC chair. Now Trump did come out with those NFTs and they've been very successful. He's got a taste of the crypto profits.
if he picks a pro crypto VP or anyone like as a main position
Vivek,
in his cabinet, I think we'll get a pro. It could even be Hester Peirce. Who knows? Probably not, but
woo,
everything's lining up, guys.
Yeah.
Everything's lining up. And then I want to share this. So the Apple Vision Pro came out. This was something cool. This is kind of the future we're heading into. And Forrest, as you're watching this, I want you to envision as a trader, what are things you can do to maybe get an edge when you're trading the charts or anything related to crypto? Rob, I challenge you to do the same thing. But
I also want to see what's happening in this game. So I can click on team stats and real time, they update while you're watching the game. Field goal percentage, 3-pointers, free throws. Do I want to look at player stats? Over here on the right side, you can look at the teams and each individual players. Let's obviously go check out the Warriors. Steph Curry had a beast of a game, 46 points. Oh, wow. All the games that are being played, whether they're live or archived for the day, are here. Let's go to a rivalry like Miami, New York, and I click on it. It says watch game. I could swap it in, or I could add to multi-view. So all of a sudden, one pops up that I'm like, oh, crap. Like, I can watch on the big screen, or I can have it here. Let's go to another game. Philadelphia, Denver. Yes, please. Add to multi-view.
So, I mean, all jokes aside, you see traders, right? They have multiple screens, spend all this money. You can essentially spend $3,500 and have as many screens and customizability and not have to worry about setting it up. Is there any benefit you guys can maybe extrapolate and see as, these Vision Pro style headsets and the whole metaverse thing? Anything come to mind? And I'll kind of, whoever has a thought in mind can go first.
I use a single monitor. I know people who crush it trading off of their mobile phone.
I love you, Forrest.
I don't think people I don't think it's going to make you a better trader. Trading and practicing and studying and charting.
So it's not the
what's not going to make you a
monitors?
better trader is buying more monitors.
yeah, I have to agree, man. And when I see somebody with 8 monitors, I'm like,
We should go to Best
just
Buy.
trying to make it look like you're
Forrest,
just trying to flex like you have more alpha than everybody because you got information coming at you from 8 screens.
Hey, man, sometimes you need that info, dog.
Now, I have used 2 screens, kind of look at one order book and then the other. It has a use case, but man.
Any other benefits you can see in relation to maybe crypto, or doesn't even have to involve trading? But
I mean, let's not forget about the obvious, man. Let's not forget about the metaverse and gaming, man. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
it's not a question of if it's gonna come, it's just when it's gonna come. And a lot of the roadblocks have been with the headsets, and the graphics and the hyper realism, being able to run multiple, being in an immersive environment with thousands of people running around and not have a delay, a lag, not have crappy graphics. have it be believable, not be too much of an eye strain to you. I know a lot of big downsides on the goggles are that, you know, after 30 minutes it's heavy or uncomfortable, or, you know, gives you headaches, things like that. And so a lot of it is about the hardware. And what we're seeing right now, the thing I'm most excited about is the hardware is evolving. The Oculus 3 is out. It's pretty sexy. You got the Apple ones as well, and those are the big ones. There are a lot.
I heard Yuga Labs is coming out with one too. I'm kidding.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of other hardware makers that have really high end like headsets, and these are just the all in one headsets. So there's other ones that really use the computing power of your PC. So you plug them into a desktop. Those are monsters, right? Because instead of having to build the computer inside of the headset, you're basically just using the headset as a display, and then you plug it into your computer and let that graphics card do all the power. So I'm pretty bullish on what this means for metaverse and crypto in gaming. And the big thing that I've seen in gaming lately is that, first of all, it's hard to raise money, but it's so easy to raise money in crypto, right? You come out with a token, your roadmap, you hire a bunch of developers that have that have big names. You go to a few conventions, and boom, you know what I mean? You got like hundreds of millions of dollars in the back pocket to build out a game. And the cool thing about crypto is that people have this long-term vision here, right? What do we always hear? Like, we see it with Gala all the time. People are buying Gala tokens 4 or 5 years ago. They're talking about the game's coming out in the next 10 years. Like, and so I think it's a perfect environment that's brewing for the gaming ecosystem. I've been a little bit hesitant to promote gaming in Web3. I just hadn't seen anything really evolve lately, or I didn't see anything evolve for years. And in the last, I would say 12 months, the gaming sector, there's a lot of competition. There's some really cool stuff coming out, and I'm really excited about it.
There's a lot of cool games coming out. I want to just share this. So we shared yesterday on the stream, Polygon laid off about 60 employees. This is a tweet from one of their former employees. Polygon laid me off today. If you know of any open BD positions, let me know. I was in charge of making sure Starbucks, GameStop, and Disney got 50 million Matic to dump in exchange for a Blockworks headline. So, you know, a little shots fired. But Forrest, you know, Rob and I talked about this yesterday, so I'm curious to get your take. As a person who holds you know, if you're a holder of Polygon, you know, longer term, right? You've held it, you accumulated through the bear market, and you know, you want to realize some gains in the bull market, right? We're on the cusp of that. Is this something that should worry you, or are you worried when you see headlines like this, like prices are going up, the sentiment has changed, and they're laying off another 10% of people? Is this something that you're worried about?
Not so much like this particular headline. I mean, companies go through periods of layoffs all the time. I mean, yeah, it's not a pretty headline by any stretch of the imagination. But what I pay more like, first of all, I think people, especially when you're talking about like these layer ones and layer twos, these smart contract networks that are all like relatively new. There's very few that are more than a couple years old. I think you have to have like a very flexible, you know, position in, you know, your ideal or your viewpoint on which ones are going to succeed. If you get stuck, you know, on, you know, thinking that a certain chain is going to succeed and then just nobody's adopting it, then it's a problem. If you're seeing positive signals, positive growth signals, like money being bridged from other chains onto the network, if you're seeing you know, people and companies going and building and developing on that chain, that's a positive signal. So I'd say pay more attention to those signals. Like, is the chain actually being adopted? Is it actually being used versus, you know, the developing company undergoing some growing pains. Yeah. That'd be my take. Look more towards the other metrics versus just, you know, layoffs. Layoffs happen.
That makes sense. I do want to, speaking of Polygon, before I move on, I do want to share. So yesterday we entered into a long position on Polygon, and I'm just gonna go review the trade we put in. So this is Polygon on the 4-hour. We noticed that, you know, it did break this shorter term downtrend. We had a almost perfect bump and run here, right? A retest of this trend line, and then we made a move up. We failed to reclaim. We failed to make a new lower high, but a potential bullish pattern could be forming here. I'm not sure if you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing here, Forrest, but maybe a shoulder, head, and maybe another shoulder. We saw what happened with that with Chainlink, and I'll go over that here in a second. But as far as money flow, the money flow has been green for quite a while with an influx coming in, as you can see here on the Lux Algo Premium Matrix Oscillator here. You see the yellow shaded area inside that money flow. It means a lot of buy orders are coming in, but the volume has been pretty low for Polygon, and we did get a red dot signal here. But depending on where we settle, I wouldn't be surprised if we settle in right at this trend line, which would put us right around 79 or 70. What is that? 75.8 cents. Our liquidation point is under 70. I think it's 71.2 cents. So not worried about getting liquidated, but I feel like once volume starts to kick in, we can see a pretty big move from Polygon here. Are you kind of seeing the same thing here, Forrest? Maybe if you want to talk over this chart, or if you want to pull up your own chart, doesn't matter to me. But as far as, and then down here on the RSI, not really oversold or overbought. So gearing up, I feel like we're gearing up for a big run on Polygon. What's your thoughts, Forrest?
Yeah, let me pull up a chart here. Might take me a second to find my my Matic chart, but yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I'm particularly bullish on. Let's share my screen here. I'm particularly bullish on Ethereum right now. I think Ethereum has a very, very strong chart, and for that reason, I'm happy to see the layer 2s and any Ethereum beta do pretty well. So let's actually go out to, I think you had the 4-hour pulled up, and you had a downtrend line, something like this pulled up. Maybe I need to switch to logarithmic view or off a logarithmic view. There we go. Yeah, so a couple things here. That where we're holding support right now off of this big last local high, that's our 5x short level. So in my opinion, one of two things needs to happen. You need to hold this level that we're on right now for a couple of different reasons. One is that, frequently when you break a downtrend level, let me go to my highlighter here. When you break this downtrend level, what you want to see is a pump and then a retest. And initially we held this retest level of the level that we actually broke out at. Then we came back, we tested the actual downtrend level, so we broke that. Now we've reclaimed this zone, and you should see some support coming in here at 79.86. We're essentially where we're at right now. This is where you can no longer go short on 5x leverage and hide a liquidation point above that last local high. So there is support here. I want to see it hold. And if this holds, I think you could actually take an entry here where we're at right now. And I think you're right. There is, potential for a little inverse head and shoulders action there. And then the next level that I'd consider bidding would be this kind of 10x long, 4x short margin pressure level region, which is actually would have been the optimal level to buy on the retest of our downtrend level. We held this perfectly, and that was a really bullish sign. But yeah, we want to see the market, and I'll say the same thing about a lot of charts right now. Solana and Bitcoin in particular, two charts that I've gone over this morning that have both seen really similar patterns where they've kind of reclaimed a level here, and they're holding support at the moment. And if we're going to see continuation upwards, they're all kind of at critical junctures of like they need to hold these support levels to move to the next zone upwards.
Awesome. I did mention a similar pattern that we saw on a chart yesterday, which was Chainlink. And so this is kind of the setup we saw here. Rob and I discussed, we put live, if you're your first time watching us, we do put live trades in on the show. And we were going back and forth between Chainlink and Polygon, right? I was leaning a little more Chainlink, but Rob brought up some good points. Overheated market, but it did what I expected it to do, which was break to the upside, right? We at the time when we were discussing this chart, Chainlink had broken out of this beautiful inverse head and shoulders. But, if you are a patient trader and you want, hey, I want the highest percentage of probability, is this going to play out? Because what we could have seen is break above, come right back under that neckline, right? And then spill off down. It didn't do that. It had another big green candle. Now, we did wick up to about $18.80. We're currently trading about $18 even. But we're starting to get a little overheated on the Chainlink. You can see here on the bottom here, the RSI is starting to hit overbought territory. But again, this matrix oscillator here from Lux Algo, which by the way, guys, if you enjoy the indicators, you do get 20% off. We did just get word from Lux Algo yesterday. We're going to be giving away some free stuff, free yearly memberships. So it's going to be awesome. So a big shout out to them. But what we saw here was we saw this green dot print. And if you decided to front run, which I would not recommend you do, but some people don't want to wait, right? They want to cash the entire move. It's your money. You do with it as you please. If you wanted to front run this pattern breaking out, and you would have bought on this green dot, you would have gotten in at around $14.11, made a nice gain. Obviously, you're not going to sell the top, but even if you sold that around that $18 level, that's a pretty nice gain. Throw in leverage, and there you go. But Forrest, what are you seeing on Chainlink? If you want to, maybe zoom down to the lower time frames or go higher time frame, doesn't matter to me. But we've broken out of this inverse head and shoulders. What are you expecting? What does the market structure look like? Are we going to see some consolidation? Are we going to see maybe a little cool off and then a rise back up to that $22, $24 level? What are you seeing?
Yeah, let me get this chart situated real quick. I'll share my screen here in just a moment. I'll go back to screen share. There we go. Go to the Chainlink chart. Yeah, so I think with Chainlink, the higher time frame charts are pretty revealing, right? Chainlink coming in, consolidating in the bear market for a very, very long period of time, getting marked up, bullish consolidation, not going to get too into the actual pattern, but and I think there's a lot of other charts right now that are in very similar spots, right? And if you remember, what kicked off this entire bullish run in altcoins initially was Chainlink. Chainlink was one of the first movers, right? Chainlink and Solana. Besides Chainlink and Solana, nothing was really running. You had kind of Caspa that kind of took off after that, but the initial run in altcoins was really led by Chainlink, more Chainlink than Solana, to be quite honest, and then kind of Solana followed shortly after. So we may be seeing something like that. But yeah, Chainlink, just if you're patient and you buy these consolidations, you're probably going to be rewarded. Now we're starting to move up to some pretty key resistance levels up here just structurally. We've got some margin pressure levels, which I won't throw on right now because they take a little bit of time to put on. But yeah, I mean, I would expect Chainlink to continue to grind upwards and then probably consolidate for a long period of time again. But this is exactly what we'd want to see out of a healthy bullish chart. Now, Chainlink does sometimes run the highs and get stuffed back down into the range. And something that you do want to be careful of is, look, if you start to see Chainlink push back down below $16, $17, right? If it reverts and does just a full, runs it all the way back down underneath, full retrace under 1660 or so and starts consolidating under 1660, the overall market is probably not healthy. And we're probably going to get a pull back, in the broader market. So that's your signal of like, hey, this might be a false breakout. Otherwise, what you just want to see in general is, and what you want to look out for in general for acceleration here is, so one, we just have a pretty nice, neat trend line here. When you have these resistance trend lines, right, that are pointed in the up direction, that are upward sloping. When you see price do this, like if we start consolidating on top of this trend line, that is extraordinarily bullish and oftentimes leads to like massive, massive, massive moves. And I'm not saying we're going to have a massive move out of Chainlink, but we certainly could if we see something like this. So that's the one thing that I am really, really paying attention to on the Chainlink chart is this, holding, not only is it holding above its range that it's, been in for the last, couple months, but is it able to push up above this, upward sloping trend line and consolidate and hold above it. If it can, then I start to get really, really bullish because that means there's you got what's kind of known as vertical accumulation, where people are just buying, eating up all the tokens, eating up all the supply, and then it just squeezes higher.
Yeah, and then something that we've never seen with Chainlink is staking, right? That went live in December. And so that obviously helps with when you do get an influx of demand in and the supply relatively remains the same, if not becomes more illiquid, that can tend to push the price up as well. Another coin that I want to take a look at is Avalanche has been running as well. This is AVAX on the daily. Looks like we're hitting a sell wall here, though. As we hit this level back on January 30th, and it looks like, we're maybe breaking out of a bull flag here, right? Little, pole going up and then flag down, and then, the breakout happens. But Avalanche is something that I've been bullish on long term. I think it's like my 4th or 5th largest holding in my portfolio. But if we do break above this level we're at right now, around that $36, there's really nothing stopping us until we get to about $40. And then $40 is where we got rejected last time. This was on January 11th. But the local high here is about $48. And so AVAX for me is more long term, but doesn't mean you can't make money on it. But I do want to move on to this. Well, not this, but this one. This is from Ali Charts. Bitcoin is witnessing one of the most significant accumulation streaks in almost 3 years. Notably, the accumulation trend score has hovered near 1 for the past 4 months, signaling that larger entities are accumulating Bitcoin. Obviously, with the ETF, this trend indicates strong confidence in the markets. And you can see here, this is going back to the beginning of 2022. And then again from Ali Charts, an impressive total of almost 1 million Bitcoin has been transacted within that 42.5 price range, marking it as the most significant interest zone for Bitcoin to date. So just a couple of things to keep an eye on. Any thoughts on this right here before I move on, Robin? No, Forrest?
It's bullish. Yeah, nice.
You are bullish on Bitcoin.
People buying.
I love it, man. And then I want to move on to this here. So yesterday we talked about FTX. They're going to start paying people back. Well, they're going to refund customers at Bitcoin price of $18K, below $18K actually. Under U.S. bankruptcy proceedings, repayments will be calculated based on Bitcoin's value in November of 2022, which was when Bitcoin was under $18,000.
That's dirty.
I have no wiggle room on that, said the Judge Dorsey. The bankruptcy code says what it says, and I'm obligated to follow it. Then this headline, FTX creditors are suing over this repayment plan. So, Rob, yesterday your tone was they should be happy they got something back. But, I mean, let's face it, man.
Yeah, I mean, they should.
Why not give them back the Bitcoin? Like, if I had 0.5 Bitcoin, whatever the price may be, give me that 0.5 Bitcoin back.
No, obviously, that's the ideal scenario. I just look at it from the perception that the exchange you're using went under and you lost everything, right? At least you're getting something back. Now, that aside, that is dirty, bro. That is so dirty. How much money is there? The lawyer team, the lawyers,
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Lawyers. I'm actually searching that right now.
It's over $100 million. I can guarantee you it's over $100 million. Celsius, over $100 million. Voyager, not sure. But while Rob's looking that up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you find the number?
I'm
searching. Okay. Forrest, what are your thoughts on this? Any, I don't know, it's kind of outlandish a little bit, but do you think, like, are we going to see, like, hey, people are getting money, they're going to sell? Or do you think this is actually an ideal scenario, as in, hey, you're not really getting a lot back, might as well just ride the wave up?
Yeah, almost you could view this, I think, and I don't know what the breakdown is between the amount of, like, what, how much Bitcoin's going out versus how much, is going out in stable coins. But I said this a while ago, months ago, with regards to, like, even the Mt. Gox distributions and whatnot. If we are in a bull market and the things are trending upwards, and you distribute Bitcoin or you distribute crypto to customers or victims of these attacks, it's like a stimulus check. If the market's crashing and the market's in the gutter and people need cash and they need money, of course they're going to sell. But if everybody's, riding the wave upwards and they're just, they might take their Bitcoin, and sure, they might sell some of the Bitcoin that they get back, but they're probably going to go and gamble that on altcoins. They're probably going to put some into Ethereum, just inject it directly into their portfolio. Sure, some will probably sell, but if the underlying expectation and the underlying trend is upwards, then I think the vast majority, it's not too different from when everyone was getting these stimulus checks from the government during the pandemic and just going and gambling it in the stock market on Robinhood and crypto. So yeah, I mean, I think it's that money's not really doing any good, at least the stable coin portion of it. It's not doing a whole lot of, anything productive besides, being siphoned off into the lawyers' pockets.
Yeah.
So better off in the hands of the customers, right?
Amen to that. You find that number, Robin?
Yeah, there's some loose numbers out there. I do have, so they are making between $1,500 and $2,000, over $2,000 per hour. And some numbers that this had pulled up, they're expecting the bankruptcy litigation's fees to reach and exceed $100 million. And so just the John Ray here has already been billed for himself personally.
That is
$38 million.
I am so sorry, man, but what a broken system. You have creditors and customers that got hosed, and then a guy comes in for a year and a half
It's a U.S. legal
to
system.
oversee the bankruptcy proceedings, and he gets paid $38 million.
Man, that's how the legal system is, man. There's people out here getting married.
That is just absurd to me. It is so absurd
people
to
out
me.
here getting married and then just getting crushed on the divorce. There's companies that get sued for slip and falls. There's people that are frauding their customers but doing it in a legal way and finding some loopholes. It's our legal system, man, at its finest. Repay at lows of sub $18,000 Bitcoin, and well,
$38 million. My God. Anyways, I want to share this article. I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts. Bitcoin needs DeFi and consumer apps for mass adoption. Say layer 2 developers. Shocker, they would say that. Bitcoin, quote, can only stand a chance at mass adoption if it opens up to the $57 billion world of decentralized finance.
I so agree.
According to oh my God, please.
No stop today, yeah. From the first minute.
This is it, man. You want to have utility?
Please tell me you're joking. Please tell me you're joking.
Absolutely not, man.
Bitcoin can only get mass adoption if it has layer 2s?
No. For it to get yes. Yes, actually, yes. Yes. It'll be a thing. It'll be the store value, it'll be rival to gold, but you want it to be the end all be all truth, the final layer, the kick finance in the mouth. It needs DeFi. It needs to be cheap, scalable, fast, throughput, transactions, you name it, smart contracts, dApps, Bitcoin phone.
Forrest, please don't let me down. Please.
When have I ever not let you down when it comes to a Bitcoin take? every Bitcoin every Bitcoin take I've got lets you down.
But can you really say Bitcoin needs DeFi to gain mass adoption? I think that's absolutely asinine and absurd.
I think my take's gonna both of you are gonna dislike it. So I think if you have layer 2s on something, that means that the layer 1. If you need layer 2s for something, it means that the layer 1 is broken in some way.
Ethereum.
And I know you guys, you guys get tired of me talking about Solana, but this is the underlying, this specific reason is the underlying reason why I've been bullish on Solana so long, is because everything scales at the layer 1. You don't have fractured liquidity. You don't have Bitcoin moving from layer 1 to a layer 2. You don't have Ethereum moving from a layer 1 to Arbitrum and all these different fractured liquidity pockets. I don't like that. I like when all the liquidity stays on one layer 1 or as much as possible. So that's my take. I like layer 1s.
So then you like Bitcoin. It's the best layer 1.
I like Solana.
I agree. I do agree with you, right? Because you don't really see L2s on Solana. They don't need them. See a lot of L2s on Ethereum. You need them. But to sit here and say that Bitcoin will not get mass adoption without DeFi is just, I can't say the word I want to say.
In context.
But it's so dumb. You do not Robin, do people use gold to pay for everyday goods and services? Do people use gold to leverage trade? Do people use gold to freaking buy memberships on Pornhub or whatever? No, they don't, because it serves a damn purpose.
That's where the
Bitcoin doesn't serve DeFi. It can. Does it need to? No.
That's where it ends. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. It's really just
It
a
doesn't
store
do
value.
anything.
You trade with it. Yes. You what were the other examples you gave?
I can't. I don't get it.
DeFi doesn't exist on Bitcoin right now. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
And Bitcoin is still at $1 trillion.
Does DeFi exist on Bitcoin? No. I'm sure there's some
not
degenerate
to any
DApp
large
provider out
degree.
there that does it. Sure.
Okay, so then how are you agreeing with DeFi? Bitcoin needs DeFi to get mass adoption.
Because it's going to stay as a store of value until then, until
And
it
it okay, so you're saying it cannot. Hold on.
I don't know if it does.
So then you're saying it cannot get mass adoption with just the store of value. Is that what you're saying?
Your term of mass
So the store
adoption-
of value narrative is not enough for a mass adoption?
Okay, will there be mass
Answer the question.
Calm
Can a store
down.
of value
Jesus.
be enough for mass adoption? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so then
There-
you're
yes.
okay. There you go. Done. End scene. So you do agree this is a stupid statement.
I'm talking about how much adoption. I think it'll be dwarfed by the altcoin market. I think that it would be so much larger and so much more dominant if it had DeFi, smart contracts, it had a thriving ecosystem, and the market was using Bitcoin to facilitate DeFi and the movement of money and smart contracts secured on the Bitcoin network. Will that come to be? I don't know. Maybe not. But if in one window you have Bitcoin store value, it gets mass adoption, yes, but it will be dwarfed in comparison to what it could have if it was full of utility,
Doesn't
full of
need
smart
it.
contracts.
It doesn't
full,
need it.
full of data. I'm not saying it does. Bitcoin is not going to die without it. But what I'm saying is that if you want it to be this giant behemoth that the world's greatest crypto 20 years from now, I think it needs to evolve in some way or shape or form. Otherwise, it's going to stay as a store of value. And then the movement of money, finance, the peer-to-peer networking where we're sending money and we're operating as banks and we're moving identity and we're tokenizing real-world assets. And that entire marketplace that is at this moment replacing the financial infrastructure that we have, it is evolving. It's transferring over. It's going from private to a self-run computer program, which is what we're seeing in DeFi and decentralization. That right there, that's a big ass chunk of the market. And if Bitcoin can get a slice of that pie, it's massive for it. Bitcoin would be this end all be all for crypto. It would check all the boxes. But right now, it checks a few boxes. Store of value and a couple other smaller boxes. And I'm just saying, if it had the other boxes,
Doesn't
it would
need
be
the other
massive.
boxes.
It doesn't. It does. I agree. It doesn't.
Bitcoin is a commodity.
But do you not agree? If it had a thriving ecosystem of smart contracts and dApps, it would be way bigger than it already is.
doesn't need it.
I'm not
That's
saying
why
it
you
needs
got-
it, but I'm just saying.
Then why do we need Ethereum, Solana, and everything else? It could just be all Bitcoin, right?
If it had a thriving ecosystem, then yes, it would be.
Okay. So then,
But I don't think it'll get there. But I'm just saying,
I don't.
in
it doesn't
response
need
to
get
this article, if for a massive adoption and just to step on the throats of all the other cryptos, it should have more utility than just a store of value. Otherwise, it's going to just be the king of that niche. It's going to be a king of store of value. It's going to be the king of, it's going to be the alternative to gold. It's going to be the digital gold.
The king of
and it's gonna
storing
be a
wealth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all he needs.
100%.
That's it. $11 trillion.
But
That's what gold is
imagine if
worth.
it was the financial rails of the world.
Yeah. Imagine if cars can fly. I want to know what
Not that.
I want to know.
And let's move on. Hey,
I want to
guys.
know what the chat thinks. Actually, I don't know. Want to know what the chat thinks because
I don't want to know.
happy.
Let's move on.
I'm not happy with you.
Let's go to a commercial.
We're gonna say okay.
There is a Gary Gensler
And
commercial.
here,
Here we
A
go.
word from our sponsors.
That's S-T-A-K-E, not S-T-E-A-K.
Thank you for that, Gary. Not all bad news is good news, guys. I mean, not all bad news is bad news. Some bad news is good news. And in this case, this is good news. As OPNX, they're shutting down. Now, if you're like, what is this OPNX? Well, it was founded by none other than Three Arrows Capital co-founder Suzu, and then one weird guy who tried to raise money from their community to pay off a bad loan that they gave to Roger Ver. You remember that, Robin? What was that guy's name? Mark Lamb?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're underwater, man. We're going to have to go under because we over-leveraged ourselves with this one trader. So we're launching a recovery token, that guy. And, well, their little exchange is not doing so well, and it's going to shut down. We would like to inform you that OPNX will officially cease operations and shut down. Thank you, God. Because, yeah. Any commentary on this, guys?
I remember when we were talking about this.
You said
that was when everything was collapsing. We're like,
Yeah.
what are y'all doing?
Like, Suzu, go back in your bunker, man. Like, the nerve for you to show face after what you did. Not as bad as what, like, Sam Bankman-Fried did, but still, you lied. Kind of, yeah. Forrest, I want to ask you, that the Jupiter token airdrop, that was a wild success. I was shocked to find out on the show that I was eligible to claim 2,400 tokens, which I did. How did you do on Jupiter? What are some of your and anything you want to share with the community? And then I know there's going to be 3 more airdrops. What can people do if they want to qualify? And what are you doing? Maybe if you want to share some alpha with the community.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get like a 6-figure airdrop from Jupiter. It was very nice. But I think airdrops right now, I have probably an unpopular opinion on airdrops right now. I think they're oversaturated. I think everyone's trying to farm airdrops way too much. And all the big giant airdrops that we've seen so far have mostly like the ones that are like Jaito, like 6-figure plus airdrops. Most of those came from actions that were taken in the bear market, right? So like if you want to get, and this is, maybe not relevant for a while, hopefully not relevant for a while, because I hope we're going into a bull market. But if you want to get big airdrops, you've got to stick around in the bear market and you just participate on chain. Use the stuff that everybody else that's stuck around is using. Try out different protocols and, just trade on decentralized exchanges, trade on or use lending and borrowing protocol, anything like any decentralized applications that, seem cool. Just use them. You'll probably, they don't have a token yet. Just use them. You'll probably get an airdrop. But I think airdrops are going to be extremely saturated from now on, at least in the bull market, mostly because you have a ton of people that are just farming them. Like you've got funds now that have literally airdrop farming desks where they've like hired a few analysts and people to like professionally farm these airdrops, which just dilutes the airdrop supply to the end user. So yeah, any big airdrops that haven't, that have been a lot of platforms that have been around in the bear market and haven't airdropped yet. So a couple of decentralized exchanges for NFTs, I think will be big, like Tensor, Magic Eden on Solana. Those will be big ones. The Jupiter airdrops in the future, I believe they're going to be doing them yearly. So every January 31st or so, they're going to be doing additional Jupe airdrops, but I don't believe that they've even decided on what the criteria is going to be for that. So obviously, if you use their exchange, if you use Jupiter Aggregator, if you use their Perps platform, if you hold JLP, which is the LP token for the Perps platform, you're probably going to qualify for that. But I don't even think that they've decided on the guidelines yet. I think 3 months out is when they're going to decide on the guidelines. So I would actually very much recommend against farming airdrops for people, especially in a bull market. I think that's something that you do in a bear market and you get rewarded for it in the bull market. And I think a lot of people are going to be wasting their time and money trying to farm airdrops when the best airdrops just come from organic use of protocols and dApps.
What's curious to me is, you see Cosmos, Celestia, Osmosis, a lot of airdrops happening there. And so people are buying the tokens and they're staking them to try to get the airdrops. What happens when these airdrops start to dry up or people are like, hey, I'm not getting them, or man, I got $5. What am I doing here? All that gets unlocked and be like, they're over the airdrop thing, right? Because narratives come and go. So eventually the airdrop narrative is probably going to fizzle out a little bit, right? And so what's going to happen to those tokens who people have bought and staked for airdrops? Is that a risk by holding those tokens? I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on that or not, but that's kind of what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, so if you're going to be staking those tokens for airdrops, what you need to be doing is, you don't need to be doing it, but what I would recommend doing is shorting the perp, right? So going to Bybit, to RabbitX, to BingX, to any perpetual exchange where you can go short. So let's just say you buy, $1,000 worth of Celestia to stake. Like you go to Perp Exchange and then you short $1,000 worth of Celestia. Right. So no matter what the price of the underlying token does, you don't gain or lose money, but you can just clean up, you can stake it and clean up the airdrops. You can do that with Blur. You can do that with Cosmos. You can do that with Celestia, whatever tokens are giving airdrops at the time. A lot of people are just, shorting the holding spot, staking it, and then shorting it on perp exchanges to be delta neutral and just collect on the airdrop yield.
Robin, any comment?
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of faking it till you make it. It's like the same thing like when you're like applying for a job and you're not qualified and you're just like trying to study up on the questions that you think they're going to ask you, and then you go in and then you're just disappointed because you don't get the job. I feel like it's very similar to farming airdrops, right? You're over here trying to pretend like you're an avid DeFi degen here, you're participating in the network, but you're just over there trying to fake it till you make it. You're trying to get that free little handout, and then you're going to be disappointed. So I think at the end of the day, you want to get a job in a profession that you're not qualified for, go get the qualifications for it, and then get the job. Same thing for DeFi. You want to qualify for the airdrops, use the damn ecosystem, and then they'll reward you. There you go.
That was a really bad analogy, but
what? You don't like my analogy? Also, I do want to give a little love. We got Lord Rooster, Michael P, Danny Boy, DV Love, Mark Dutch, Yawns, Silent 45 Auto, Overcome, and Johnny G as well. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
All right, my friends, that'll do it. Our video later that's going to be going out to members first is our Bitcoin ecosystem video. That'll be going out to members first, and then public gets access about 3 hours later. So if you're a member, you will get that first. I also want to give a shout out to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business go, visit the website that was on your screen. Also, guys, go subscribe to Forrest on Twitter, on YouTube if you haven't already. He is doing live streams again at Sistine Research. And then go follow him on Twitter as well, again, at Sistine Research. And with that being said, gentlemen, any last words before we tornado into the weekend?
No, I'm good, Ray.
Forrest?
Thanks for having me on, guys.
No, I'm going to fly down to Georgia for a week, and all we're going to do is talk about Bitcoin, okay? Save a place.
Sounds good to me.
Great idea.
All right, Rocco! It's going to be a great weekend, man. It's going to be a great weekend. Tornado. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. What an amazing week. Big shout out to all of you. Come back on Monday. We have a big lineup of guests next week. You do not want to miss it. We love you guys. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.